Well, what you have to understand, of course, is that by the late 16th century, there are two major religious movements in Christianity. There's now Protestantism, in addition to the traditional Roman Catholic Church. There are, interestingly, only 10 people we know of who are committed Copernicans, so people who really believe or who publish their beliefs that the sun is at the centre of a solar system. In the 57 years from the publication of Copernicus's book to 1600. Now, two of those people are on either sides of that religious divide. One of them is the great German natural philosopher and astronomer Johannes Kepler, who publishes an extraordinary book called Mysterium Cosmographicum in 1596. He's an avowed Copernican, and he hopes that other people will follow him. Another person who is a very strong believer in Copernicanism, particularly by 1600, is an Italian professor of mathematics called Galileo Galilei. And we know that in the first 2 or 3 decades of the 17th century, Galileo becomes a fervent adherent to Copernicanism. Galileo's problem is that he's, I think, undoubtedly a sincere Catholic, and he has a problem of convincing the major philosophers in the Catholic Church, who are Jesuits, of the truth of Copernicanism. Now, the Catholic understanding of those tricky passages in Scripture that are geocentric is fine if you believe in a geocentric cosmos. If you don't believe in a geocentric or Earth-centered cosmos, then you have to devise a new technique for understanding it, or for understanding these passages. And Galileo and others like him draw upon an old tradition in Judeo-Christian hermeneutics or exegesis, which is to say that when you see the great prophets talking geocentrically, they are, in a sense, accommodating or changing their language to deal with the rank stupidity of the people to whom they're talking. It's as if Moses and others who speak geocentrically cannot accept, or they can't believe, that ordinary people could understand that the sun and the moon are actually grossly different in size. So when you see passages in Scripture that seem to suggest they are the same size, Moses doesn't really believe that, but he's talking down, as it were, to the perceptual faculties of the vulgar. Now, Galileo tries to promote this view in the Catholic Church in the second decade of the 17th century, but he gets short shrift because the senior astronomers in the Church and the senior establishment of the Catholic Church are not going to change their views about geocentrism until they get absolute definitive proof from Galileo or somebody else that we live in a heliocentric system. They're not going to overturn a millennium and more of understanding, what they call tradition, just because some upstart from Florence is telling them that they should do that.